You only give me the best. Yeah. You only give me the best that you have. Oh, say I've just taken the way you love me and your ways of loving. I just can't keep it to myself. Yeah.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Taylor, also known as Taylor Travels, and I make videos about flight attendant life as well as other travel related things that I'm interested in. So today I'm going to be talking about how I end up planning my trips. As you may or may not know, if you aren't already subscribed to my channel, I do make a lot of travel related videos simply because I am a flight attendant and I love to travel. So with becoming a flight attendant, I've learned that I can take a lot of international trips. And yes, I do get my flights for free, but it does also take a lot of planning to go into trips, especially with the other flight attendants as well as some of my other friends who aren't flight attendants but just love to travel. I do get a lot of questions from you guys asking how I plan my trips, so I thought this would be a perfect way to explain how I personally plan my trips. I kind of like taking budget-ish vacations. I don't like to spend a whole bunch of money on like my accommodations. I obviously don't spend a lot on my flights. I don't really spend anything at all on my flights. But as far as staying and getting around, I tend to find the best way possible to get around. So my 2 tips before you actually start to plan your actual vacation, like where you're going or what you're gonna do, I come up with like a budget. I have a rough budget in my mind of how much I kind of want to spend on everything I need to buy before I get there. And then once I get there, I kind of know the price of the country based on my research that I would do later on, and I kind of know how much I want to spend. And then my main tip is always plan to go by yourself, especially if you want to go with a group. Just always plan to go by yourself, because if you plan and you're hoping on other people coming, or you make your plan around whether or not other people can come, you won't go. You won't go if you have to wait on other people, because other people, they flake, they have things that come up, life happens. If they can't go on the trip, you need to be committed to going. Like, you need to say, okay, I want to go here and I'm going here whether or not this person is coming. So normally when I'm the planner of the trip, it's a place that I want to go to. If it's a place that someone else wants to go to and they want me to come along, then all I do is show up and I pay the money. I like to plan trips for myself that I would enjoy doing. That way it's not really a hassle for me. It's not like a bad thing for me to have to plan the trip. It's not annoying because I want to do it. I plan everything. I tell everybody their price at the end of the day. If they want to come, they pay me the money, or they pay, you know, they go to the websites that I tell them to go to and book everything themselves, and then they show up and we all go together. Like, that's just how I plan my trips. I don't like to plan trips where we all have to pay one deposit, and if one person doesn't show up, it messes it up for everybody. I don't like trips like that. That's very stressful. I know things can happen. A lot of my friends flake, and I just don't like to travel like that. So from this point on, if you're planning a trip and you want other people to come, don't just plan it for yourself. Plan it for you. If other people want to come, it's great. If nobody else comes, great. You're going either way, okay? As long as we got that out the way, then we're gonna have a great trip, because you're going because you want to go, right? Before I pick where I want to go, before I pick what I'm doing, I pick the dates. So as a flight attendant, I am always knowing my schedule a month in advance. If I go on a trip that isn't on my vacation, or I know a year ahead of time, we pick our vacations actually I'm picking vacation now in October for next year. So I have a vacation planned in February, I have one in March, and I have one in May. So I pick the dates first. And then around those dates, I pick what destination I want to go to. So I always try to go somewhere for my birthday. My birthday is at the end of February, it's February 22nd, and this year I'm going to be turning 25. But yeah, so I normally plan my vacations around my birthday. And so I've always wanted to go to Paris. But in February, Paris is pretty darn cold. I don't want to go anywhere cold. So last year, me and my friend, we actually kind of almost share a birthday. So we both wanted to go somewhere islandy, and we wanted to go to Thailand. So we picked Thailand last year. This year, I still have no idea where I'm going. I'm still in actually the next stage of this, which is basically doing your research. I like to plan my trips, like I said, around the dates. So I know what dates I want off, I know what dates I'm going to have off, I just have no idea where I'm going. So I start by looking online, like what are some warm places to go in February? What are the best places to visit in February? What are the best places to visit at the beginning of the year? I try to pick my days off, not around holidays, not around the summertime, not around, you know, holidays or vacations, because everyone's always trying to travel, and of course I'm on standby. But I don't want to deal with a lot of people, and I kind of want to go to places that a lot of people aren't going to necessarily. And the year before that, I went to Sydney, Australia. It's a very popular time to go to Sydney, but it also is like their summer. So it was a great time for me to go. I had never even thought of going to Sydney, Australia. I had a wonderful time. So the next step can go one of two ways. So you can either pick your activities and then pick your hotel, or you can pick your hotel and then pick your activities. So I'll describe to you two scenarios that I had when I stayed in Tokyo. I've been there 3 times already, not including my work trips. But the first time I stayed there, I just picked a good hostel because I knew it would be easy to get around Tokyo no matter where I wanted to go. I had no real plans, I had no really activities that I just had to do while I was there. So I just picked a really nice hostel that wasn't too far from the city center. You know, there's like a whole bunch of different areas in Tokyo. I wanted to kind of explore each of them, one of them per day, kind of like, you know, Disney World has 5 parks, and you pick one per day. That's kind of like what I did in Tokyo the first time around. So we just picked a place that was kind of in the middle, and it would be easy for us to go to each of the cities per day. It didn't take no longer than like 15-20 minutes to get to each place. The second time I went to Japan, I went this past April, and we planned our activities. So then we picked somewhere that was more so in the city, closer to a lot of the other things that we had planned, and it wasn't too far away. So that time we picked our activities first, and then we picked a suitable location that kept us close to all the activities. We didn't have to go too far. Only one day we had to go pretty far, but it was our last day in Tokyo, and we were making our way out of Tokyo to Kyoto anyway. So those are the two ways that I kind of tend to plan my trips. Most of the time, 9 times out of 10, I pick the activities. I kind of have like a general idea of the activities I want. I don't really hardcore plan them yet. I'll have an idea of the activities I want, and I try to pick a nice hostel or hotel kind of in the city center. You can never go wrong with staying in the city center. Always pick hostels, Airbnbs. I use booking.com a lot. I have coupon codes to all those places. They will be in the link in the description box below, so please use them so I can get discounts so I can go on more trips. But yeah, I always use booking.com. First and foremost, I always look there because I always stay in hostels, and I can look at reviews, I can look at pictures, I can look at videos. They have everything on booking.com. If I don't really want to stay there, if I have more of a big group coming and we all want to kind of stay in the same place, you can definitely stay in a hostel and get your own room. They have private rooms in hostels. Hostels aren't always those typical dorm room style rooms. I've stayed in Airbnbs. When we went to Thailand, we stayed in a wonderful Airbnb. So nice, a huge house, and it was actually very cheap. Like, depending on the country you go to, which is what you'll do in your research when you're finding a country, you'll find out whether or not it's cheaper to stay in an Airbnb or in a hostel, or if they're about the same. And it kind of depends on who's coming with you, and what you're willing and not willing to do. I've never really stayed in a hotel because hotels are just very expensive, and I haven't stayed in a hotel for a vacation anytime I've gone out of the country since I've been flying for the past 2 years. So I don't really have any information on hotels, but booking.com is like my go-to for all those places. If you do book through Booking, you don't have to pay most of the time. 9 times out of 10, you don't have to pay until you get to the actual location, which is why I choose to use booking.com over any other sites. No, I'm not sponsored. Booking, you can sponsor me next time because y'all really are the GOAT though, and I don't mind talking about them. But yeah, I don't have to pay, especially if I'm staying in a hostel or a hotel. I don't have to pay till I get there. Where Airbnb, you gotta pay like half. There's so many like stipulations. You can't cancel. Like once you book a Airbnb, you're kind of sucked in there, which is why I tend to use booking.com. So as far as picking activities and booking activities, there are 3 sites that I tend to use. I use Viator. My mom's actually a travel agent and she suggested it to me. They have so many good tours on there for all the countries I've ever been to, all the countries I can even think of. They have like guided tours, they have bike tours, they have walking tours, they have so many different tours, so many different things you can do. They have like food classes and all of that. Another good website to use is TripAdvisor. You can find TripAdvisor basically by doing a Google search of things to do in XYZ country, or you can go to TripAdvisor themselves. Mostly you can book things through there, and they also have a lot of reviews. A lot of people use it. Even if you don't book through there, you can leave reviews, you can get points. I don't know what the points are for, but yeah, you can. A lot of people leave reviews and pictures and videos, which is what I really rely on when I'm deciding to plan a trip and I plan my activities. I use TripAdvisor. My necklace. Another good site that you could use if you are traveling domestically, certain European countries have it as well. I don't know if any Asian countries have it, but Groupon. Groupon is also a good place to find tours, cruises, hotels on the low, but it's mostly America and I think Europe, maybe Mexico. It's not so global, so when I'm traveling internationally, I haven't had a chance to use it as much, but when I am trying to travel domestically and I need like a quick, I don't know, food tour or a quick little museum tour or something quick and quirky that I've never done before, I check Groupon as well. So those are my top 3 places to look for activities. So actually, I forgot. As far as finding a destination, you need to buy a plane ticket. You need to look and see what and how much plane tickets cost, especially if you're going to a certain place during a popular time. Find out how much your plane tickets are and see if it fits within your budget. You can buy plane tickets near the beginning or towards the end, depending on how close you're trying to plan this trip. Now, if you're trying to plan this trip in a month in advance, I would definitely buy a plane ticket like as soon as possible because it can only get more expensive. But if you're doing this a year out, I wouldn't necessarily buy a ticket right as soon as you're planning the trip because, you know, life can happen. But I would go ahead and start looking and trying to see how much they are, put a notification on for whenever the flight deals are on, get email alerts whenever it goes lower than a certain price. You know, just keep those alerts on, and whenever it does go under, like way under, go ahead and book it at that point in time. But definitely if you're doing this like 6 months out or so, or even further out, I would just book it whenever you see the price going down. So once you pick your activities, you pick your dates, you know what day you're getting there, you know what time you're getting there, what time you're leaving, and what time you're getting back home. Of course, you start to put the activities with dates. Now, I would not put any activities on the first day that you're getting there and the last day that you're leaving. Some people like to plan and book tours, especially, and your flight could be delayed, your flight could be canceled, like weather can happen, things can happen to where you're not getting there the day you're supposed to get there. You might get there early the next morning, which is why I say don't plan anything the first day you get there, and don't tend to have anything like that first day after you get there. Kind of leave that open. Leave those first 2 days open and at least the last day open. If you don't have anything planned, you can totally go out and explore, go eat, go find out the things around you. I'm sure the place you're staying at will have activity suggestions for you. Leave that day open for anything that you may want to do. And then after that, all those days in between, like if you're staying a week, for those 3 or 4 days in between that you have, put an activity, one activity a day. If it's like a tour, I would do one activity a day. If it's something like a cooking class or something that's only like 2 or 3 hours long, don't put things too close together and you'll be good. All right, so once you have when you're getting there, what you're doing once you get there, and then when you're leaving, you put them all on the dates, you have your whole schedule kind of loosely planned out. You at least know what you're doing once a day once you get there. And then go ahead and kind of like price everything out. So like price your hotel, price your hostel, price how much all that's gonna cost, price up all your activities, everything, write that all down, price out your plane ticket, put it all down. And then you can find out if you need transportation, things like that. estimate how much you think you're spending and then add another $50 to $100 on top of that, depending on where you are. If you're in Europe, you're gonna need to add a little bit more unless you plan on taking like the train system or public transportation, you'll be fine. But if you plan on taking Ubers, taxis, anything like that where it's gonna cost some money, add a little bit extra. Go ahead and have all that on the side. Once you have all that set to the side, your whole budget, you can either book it all now, or you can wait and see if some of your other friends want to go, see who's kind of willing to go. You can send them everything that you want to do, the whole itinerary, because you've basically created your own trip yourself. You can send it to them in a text message, say, hey, this is what I'm doing. If you guys want to go on, you know, all these activities, I need to know XYZ beforehand. I would say have them pay at least 6 weeks before they go, 4 to 6 weeks before you go, because you don't want to be stressing out like, you know, the month of, or like 2 weeks before. You don't want to be stressing out about money, about hotels, about any of that, because you're supposed to be getting ready, getting happy about your vacation, not stressing other people about their money because they don't have their lives together. But yeah, so I will leave the last 2 weeks open and definitely ask people for their money 4 weeks in advance, if not even further out in advance. But just send them all the information. They can book it themselves, or they can send it all to you if it's a group activity, and you can book it all at once. But definitely get the money way ahead of time so you can make sure who's really going and who's really playing. So, I mean, 9 times out of 10, if you invite 10 people, 2 people might go. You might get lucky and more people may go, but when it comes to that final price, that final dotted line, signing their name on that dotted line saying that they're gonna go, people will flake. And that's kind of how I avoid flaking. I don't really depend on other people coming with me. I've been lucky enough to every time I go on a trip, even if I plan on going by myself, I'll invite people, be like, hey, I'm going to Japan at the end of the month. If you're off, you can totally come with me. This is all you have to pay for, and this is all we're doing. So if you want to come, definitely come. If you can't, no problem, no big deal. This is how you keep friendships alive, okay? Because if you're trying to plan something with somebody and they flake at the last second, but you've already booked the hotel and you were waiting on their money, we can't be friends no more if I gotta pay for your half because you promised me that you were gonna go. I don't like planning vacations like that. So for me, planning vacations is very easy. If you guys had any questions or anything else that you guys want me to answer, if you guys are a flight attendant, these are just ways I plan it, especially if I'm trying to go somewhere and it's a popular time. I try to go right before the season starts or right as the season's ending, because we fly standby over here on the flight attendant side, and I'm not trying to like plan my whole vacation, pay for everything, and then not make it there because the flights are full. Like, I'll go a day ahead of time. I leave space. I don't leave my last day of vacation and leave like the day before I have to go back to work, because I can get stuck in that country. And I try to leave a couple days open at the beginning. Like if I see a flight and I see it's open on Friday, but I wasn't planning on leaving until Sunday, I take Friday and Saturday off. So that way I can scan the trips, I can scan the flights and see what's open. Because if it happens to be open on Friday and it's full on Sunday, you bet your ass I'm gonna get on that Friday flight. And then I'm gonna find a hotel or a hostel or something to stay for 2 nights, so that way I can, you know, be there by the time my activities start. Especially if you're planning activities where you have to be there, or tours. I'm getting there early. I'd rather be early than late. And I'd rather get there than miss something that I've already planned and paid my hard-earned coins on. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. If you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment any suggestions, any places that you think I should go to for my birthday while I'm here. I might as well ask you guys places I should go. And make sure you share this video. Like if you and your friends are planning a trip, share this trip, you know, share this video in your like group text, you know, so you guys can plan it out. Pick 1 person or 2 people to plan it, because if everybody's trying to plan it, then it gets kind of messy, you know. Talk about activities that you guys want to do as a group. Create a group chat, a group message, you know, do the full 9, go all out, because this doesn't have to be a stressful process. It's fun to me. I enjoy doing it. And if you enjoyed the video, please like it. It really helps me out a lot. I'm trying to get sponsored by one of these companies, y'all, one day, so it'll be a great thing if you guys could just like the video. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.